Alright guys, here is my final wrap up for the BookTube-A-Thon 2016. My first one ever. I'm pretty proud of myself. I did alright. I managed to read 3.5 books, which is crazy for me because I'm a pretty slow reader and I normally don't read that many books in an entire month. I think I'm pretty competitive when it comes to certain things, even if it's basically just a challenge for myself or against myself. I found that having a deadline and kind of being under pressure with the reading made me want to read more. It wasn't a chore. I actually wanted to get it done. So I think I'm going to do whatever next reading challenge thing there is. I don't know what all challenges there are, but I'm definitely going to join more in the future. So the first book I finished is Sea Witch by Virginia Cantra. It is about a girl, Selkie, and a man from Maine, and their love story, romance. It's pretty erotic. I like the love story a lot. I loved all the characters in it. There's also demons in it. There's talk of kind of different elementals, like you have fire people, earth people, sea people, and wind or air people. And there was some conflict in here with a demon, and I liked all the action in this story a lot. It was really fast for me to read, so I'm glad I picked this up for the BookTube-A-Thon. I have the next 4 in this series, and I'm going to jump right into number 2, maybe today. Next one I finished was Mysteries and Legends Virginia, True Stories of the Unsolved and Unexplained by Emily Hines. This one was a bunch of short stories about kind of weird things from Virginia, not so much about haunted stuff, which I kind of thought it was, maybe more like ghost stories. There was a lot of history in here, so it started out in like, I don't know, the 15 or 1600s with like the very beginning of Virginia and the colony, different weird things that went on, and then it went all the way up to modern times. One of the stories in here was about a woman who claimed to be Anastasia, and she ended up living here in Charlottesville, Virginia. And she's one of the people that is highly considered that if Princess Anastasia actually did make it out of Russia, this woman could potentially be her. So reading about her story was really fascinating, and since I love history so much, I really did like this book. The other book that I actually finished was 1984 by George Orwell. Here you go. I listened to this one on Hoopla. It's an app from my library. I liked this one a lot. I put off reading this book for a really long time because I'm pretty political and I can be paranoid, and I knew that this book would freak me out, and it did. I listened to it a lot at night when I was trying to go to sleep, and that was a really bad idea. It kept me awake. The book was pretty scary to me because you could see a lot of things that are happening today that happened in the book, and you can see where those things are going and where our society is headed. One of the scariest things for me was the mention of Common Core math in this book. He didn't call it Common Core math, but the way he described it, you know, if you're told 2 + 2 = 5, then you need to believe it, sort of thing. And I feel like that's the way our school system is going with kids. When I got to the very end, I actually had to put the book down and take a break. I went and watched Anna Karenina, which was another part of this challenge, because I needed to decompress from the awfulness that was going on in the book. That being said, I think everyone should read this book. I think it's incredibly important, especially in today's society, to be able to recognize when we're being controlled. I won't go too much into politics, but this book really scared me. Okay, and the half book that I read was Common Sense by Thomas Paine. This is an oldie but a goodie. It should be recommended school reading, in my opinion. I only read half of it, but it does really make a lot of sense, everything Thomas Paine is saying. He wrote a lot, at least in the part that I read, about how screwed up kings are and royalty, and how society should not be run by aristocrats. He also talked a lot about how people should not be career politicians, which is something that I completely believe in. The whole system of our government was set up with the purpose that people would go to DC and be a politician for a short amount of time, just a few years at the most, and then they would go back home and someone new would go to DC. So that should kind of freak people out too, how far we've come from the way things were set up, because originally our society and our government was a pretty perfect situation, and you know, things have changed or whatever, but I feel like maybe if we go back to the common sense of it, it might make things a little bit better. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but this should be required reading. And the last part of the challenge that I actually completed was watching Anna Karenina. I read the book before the challenge started, but I hadn't seen the movie, so I went ahead and watched the movie this weekend. And I'll say I liked it in a way. It reminded me a lot of Moulin Rouge with the cinematography and just the general way this movie was done. But if you've seen my review of the book Anna Karenina, you know that I absolutely hate Anna. So watching her in the movie was difficult for me because I wanted to just punch her through the whole thing. She just makes me so mad all the time, and I could not wait for the movie to end so I didn't have to look at her face anymore. Even though her face is Keira Knightley in the movie and she's very pretty, but I just could not stand looking at Anna any longer. Alright guys, that's my wrap up. Like I said, I'm really happy with what I accomplished this week. I hope you all had a great challenge yourselves, and if you didn't do the challenge, I hope you had a great week anyway. I will see you guys soon. Bye.